Hi everyone, welcome to MakerFun powered by Brilliant Labs. I'm Nellie, and I'm so glad you could be here today. Today we're going to look at a couple of things you can do to make the world a better place, specifically to help the environment. You may have already heard about reduce, reuse, and recycle from school, and your family may already recycle cans or bottles or paper, but we're diving deeper into what those 4 R words really mean. Reducing means being very careful of how much of something we use, knowing whether we need it, like food, or just want it, like a new toy. Reducing means not buying as much stuff unless we really need it. Reusing means trying to use something more than once, or in a new and different way, instead of throwing it out and buying a new one. Recycle, of course, can mean putting your cans and newspapers in a recycle bin, but it can mean so much more. Recycle actually means to put something back through a cycle so that the material it's made of can be used again. For example, check out what happens with these glass jars.
How is a glass jar related to the environment? Let's think about it. When glass gets recycled, it gets sent to a special facility where it is washed and sorted and crushed into cullet, which is then melted down and formed into new jars. These new jars are then filled with tomato sauce and other yummy stuff and sent to the grocery store. Recycling helps us demonstrate respect for the environment and for future generations.
You can take everyday things like glass jars and make amazing things. When you make amazing things, let us know. We'll show you all our social media, website, and snail mail address at the end of the show. Check out what Meg and her fellow creators make in the book Boxytex by Kim Smith.
Boxytex by Kim Smith, published by HarperCollins Publishers Limited. Meg was a boxytech. She loved to make things out of boxes. She loved making tiny houses, tall towers, and twisty tunnels. And she made marvelous things no one had ever seen before. Meg was proud of her work. She could make boxes into anything. Meg's mother was proud too. She thought Meg was brilliant and creative. So Meg's mother sent Meg to Maker School, where she could be even more brilliant and creative. At Maker School, there were blanketeers, spaghetti techs, tinfoilers, and egg cartoniers. There was almost any kind of maker you could imagine. But Meg was the class's first boxytech, and that made her feel special. At school, Meg learned all about boxytecture. She learned how to make her structures useful, strong, and beautiful. Meg loved everything about Maker School, until Simone showed up. Like Meg, Simone was new. She was also brilliant and creative. Worst of all, Simone was a boxytech too. And she was already making things Meg had never dreamed of. In class, Simone would point out ways Meg could make her constructions a little straighter, more wind-resistant, and less boring. So Meg told Simone she should build things that were less bumpy, sturdier, and much prettier. On the last day of school, the class's annual maker match was held to see who could make the most amazing thing. There was just one rule. You had to work as a team. But Meg didn't want to work with anyone, and neither did Simone. The blanketeers built with blankets and pillows, the spaghetti techs built with pasta and glue, the bakeologists built with cake and frosting. But the boxytechs were not building at all. They were arguing. "I want to make a treehouse," Meg said. "No, I want to make a ship," Simone insisted. Meg drew a line down the middle of a very large box. "I'll take this half, you can have the other." "Fine," said Simone. Soon Meg noticed that her treehouse wasn't as large as Simone's ship, so she made her side taller and more impressive. When Simone noticed that Meg's treehouse was taller than her ship, she made her side higher and more extraordinary. Slowly, Meg and Simone's creation grew bigger and bigger. They both built and built until there wasn't a single box left, And at last, they finish. "What is it?" asked a classmate. "I've never seen anything like it," said another. The teacher said, "It looks like it might..." Achoo. Crash! "Your side was too wobbly," shouted Meg. "Your side was too heavy," cried Simone. "Oh dear," said the judge. The maker match was not over yet, but most of Meg and Simone's work was ruined. There were only a few parts left that could be saved. "If we combine my treehouse with your ship," Meg started, "we might be able to make one thing," finished Simone. The Boxy Techs decided to call a truce so they could finish the match. Working as a team, Meg and Simone quickly joined the remaining pieces together until they had created something new. At the end of the maker match, the Boxy Techs hadn't won first place, but they had a different way of making brilliant and creative things, working together. And they each gained a new friend. What should we make next? How about a buoyant bungalow? Or a motorcycle mansion?
I love imagining what Meg and Simone will come up with next. A lot of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are about taking care of our planet and making sure we're responsible about how we make and use stuff in the future. Goal number 15 is called Life on Land, and one of the ways we know we're succeeding, also called an indicator, is when we put in good rules for how our forests are managed by governments. This helps keep our land and forests safe from destruction. We also want to halt deforestation, which means making less paper. Check out how Gracie is taking care of the land by making beautiful homemade paper.
Hi again, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another maker project. Today I'm back at my mom's studio and we're going to make paper together. Making paper is a super fun way to recycle and reuse paper scraps. Instead of throwing old receipts, used notepaper, and newspapers into the recycling bin, you can give them new life and use them to make your own unique paper that can be used for anything you want. When you make your own paper, you can get super creative. Different paper scraps allow you to play around with color, add patterns, and so much more. You can even add other things you may throw out, like wilted flowers. A really fun thing I like to do is to make thank you cards and notes for my friends. Today we are going to be experimenting with adding different things to our paper, and we are going to be adding flower seeds. This way, after my friend receives a special note from me, they can give back to the environment and plant the note in the ground to grow flowers. For this activity, you will need scraps of paper, flower seeds, a mini blender, scissors, an old window screen, or a piece of sheer fabric, a stapler, a stack of heavy books, a dishpan type bucket, an old picture frame, and a water source. We begin by tearing up pieces of paper we plan to recycle. It should be easy to tear. If it's too thick, it will not break up easily. Add some warm water to your mini blender. 2 cups should be good. Pieces smaller than your thumb are best. Add in colored paper of your choice. Push the paper under the water to be sure it becomes soft. Blend for 30 seconds at a time to see if you're at the right texture. Now we have paper pulp. Have a parent remove the blade because it's sharp. Take out any paper that didn't break down. Now let's get our frame and screen ready. We only need the wood. Have a parent staple the 4 corners and 4 sides. Then cut off any excess fabric. Place your screen in the pan half filled with water. Pour your pulp into the screen. Aim for the opening. Gently move the frame in the water to spread the pulp. Lift the frame up and let the water run out below. Whoops, we forgot the seeds! We added more pulp to cover them. Put the wet frame onto a dry towel and place a piece of sheer fabric on top. Do your best to squish the water out. Get the edges too. Flip your frame to start to release your sheet of paper. Pat all over the surface to get it to let go. You will see an outline wherever it has been released. Pick up your frame and tap it on the table. You may need to help the edges release with a ruler. Now try again. And there's our sheet of paper. It is still very wet, so we need to squish the water out with our hands. And using more dry towels and pressure. Heavy books help. And so does rolling a hard bottle over the surface. Our finished piece of paper is ready to dry overnight. Check out those seeds! That was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for joining us. Happy paper making and stay brilliant!
I'd love to make someone a gift with that paper. Making your own do-it-yourself art supplies is a great way to reduce the amount of stuff you buy and throw away. Instead of buying paper, make some. Here are 2 more ways you can make your own things and reduce the amount of garbage we throw away every day.
Hi, I'm Megan. And I'm Caitlin. And we're going to show you how to make a balloon-powered car out of things we found in our recycling bin and around the house. A simple balloon-powered car is great for thinking about science. You'll need a plastic bottle, 8 bottle caps, 2 wooden skewers. Our mom uses these to make shish kebabs. 2 straws, some tape, a balloon, some scissors, and an addle to help use the drill. Tape 2 bottle caps together to make the wheels. Do that 4 times, including the one you just did. We already did these. Drill a small hole in one side of the bottle cap, the same size as a skewer. Drill 2 parallel holes on the side of the bottle. Do that to the other side. You're going to need to cut one of your straws in half and then poke it through your bottle so you have a little bit left on the ends. Do that with the other one. We found it useful to put a bit of tape at the end of the straw so the straw doesn't move around. Place your wooden dowel through the straw and cut it the length that you want it to be. Leave at least 1 centimeter on the end. Attach your wheels onto the wooden dowels. Our dad drilled a hole in the very top of the bottle for us so we could stick a straw through and put the end of the straw through the top of the bottle. Stretch the balloon and then tape it onto the straw. The balloon is on the end of the straw so we can blow it up through here. It took us a few tries to get what we wanted, but that's science. So we kept trying, and we did it.
Making quilts is an important way to reuse, repurpose, and recycle. African Nova Scotian ancestors did this long ago by necessity, not wanting to waste even a small square of fabric. So, an old worn shirt or pair of pants would become part of a handmade quilt to be used as a cozy blanket. But these quilts were used for more than keeping a person warm at night. These quilts were often used to tell stories and to send important messages. Years ago, these quilts were made with special designs that gave secret clues or hidden codes to help people of African descent escaping slavery through the Underground Railroad. These quilts were often hung on porches or fences to give directions along the way. They were known as freedom quilts. Today, you will still find the tradition of recycling clothes to make quilts in many African Nova Scotian communities. Family quilts are proudly passed down from generation to generation. are more ways to reuse than meets the eye. The UN's second Sustainable Development Goal is called Zero Hunger, and one of the targets is developing sustainable food production. That means growing food in a way that doesn't hurt the environment and a way we can keep going in the future. We can help with that in a way if we grow our own food. Here's Kate to show us how she reuses table scraps and food from her kitchen. And to help those plants grow big and strong, let's go over to Lauren. She's going to show us a cool way to help those plants follow their natural cycle.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. You've probably heard of recycling things like paper and plastic, but what about leftovers from food and plants? Another word for this kind of leftovers is organic matter, which just means it came from a living thing. Recycling organic matter is called composting, and just like recycling paper and plastic, it needs some special care that doesn't happen when things are just thrown in the garbage. Once organic matter has died, it begins decomposing, or rotting. Once something has completely decomposed, it becomes compost. Decomposing is led by living things called decomposers, which help break down rotting material. Some examples of decomposers are fungi, bacteria, and insects. In order for decomposers to do their job, they need oxygen from the air. Most of the time, when you throw something in the trash, it ends up in a place called a landfill. In landfills, the piles of trash don't get enough air in order for decomposers to do their job. That's one reason why composting is so important. Another reason is how helpful it is. Compost is a great fertilizer, which means it's full of stuff that helps plants grow. Today I made banana bread and had banana peels and eggshells left over, which are both organic matter that can easily be turned into fertilizer.
By using compost as fertilizer, you are completing a cycle of taking something you need from the earth and then giving back to the earth so it can stay healthy and grow for a long time. We depend on the earth to live, so it's important that we respect and give back to it. This relationship we have with the earth is explained by the Mi'kmaq teaching Ndukulink. Nadukalimk teaches us that we have a relationship with the earth and everyone and everything living here. As people living with the earth, we have a responsibility to appreciate its gifts, use only what we need, and leave the environment as good or better than we found it, so that future generations can enjoy and continue this sacred relationship.
With the eggshells, you can crush them up and sprinkle them directly on the soil, or you can make liquid fertilizer to water your plants. For liquid fertilizer, start by boiling water. You need 375 milliliters of water for every eggshell that you add. Since I have 2 eggshells, I'm going to multiply 375 by 2 to get 750 milliliters of water. Once your water boils, take it off the heat and add your eggshells. Let this rest overnight and then use it to water your plants. With the banana peels, you're going to start by cutting them into small pieces. Then you can put these pieces directly into the soil. From there, the decomposers will get to work, breaking them down into compost, and fertilize the soil and make it better for the plants to grow in.
Even bugs, worms, and dirt are part of nature, and we have a deep relationship with it. We need to respect it and protect it and give back for everything we take. We can take little actions every day to fulfill that responsibility, be proud of what we make, and actually make a real difference. Thanks to everyone who supported this episode. Thanks to our special guests for their creative input, and especially thanks to you for joining us. Stay brilliant. I'll see you next time.